This is my new project, a Hexapod robot. It's completely open source, so all the 3D models and the source code will be available on my printables profile. The robot has a total of 6 legs, and each leg has 3 servo motors. I used MG90S servos, so the robot cost me less than $100 in total. Now I'll show you how to build this robot. These are the servos and screws you'll need. 3 MG90S servo motors, 3 servo arms that came with the servos, 3 623 ZZ ball bearings, 4 8mm screws, 6 6mm screws, 1 4mm heat insert, and 6 6mm heat inserts. All the inserts and screws came from this box. These are all 3D printed items. Now I'll show you how to put it all together. First, heat up your soldering iron to about 260 degrees Celsius. Insert the 6mm heat insert into the 3D printed part. Try to hold the soldering iron with the insert as perpendicular as possible to the 3D printed part. Now take the servo and temporarily bend the cable as shown in the video. Press the cable until it comes out the other side. Pull the cable and the servo should fit perfectly into its housing. Take 2 6mm screws and screw them into the servo. The servo is now securely held in its cage and can't escape. Take some superglue and attach the 3D printed pin to the bearing. You can use a sturdier pin, such as one made of iron. Take the superglue again and attach the bearing with the pin to the servo cage. Gather these items. Insert 2 6mm heat inserts into the second servo cage. Bend the cable again as shown in the video. Secure the servo with 2 6mm screws. Take a 4mm heat insert and solder it into the top of the cage. Superglue the two cages together. They should move easily. Take the servo arm and use two 8mm screws to attach the small 3D printed part to it. Now we can move both cages. Take the last two 6mm heat inserts and insert them into the long 3D printed leg. Insert the bent cable into the cage. Secure the servo with two 6mm screws. Glue the bearing to the cage using superglue. Do the same thing for the second part. Screw the two servo arms together using the remaining 8mm screws. Glue the two remaining pins to the stick. Glue the pin rod into the bearings. Be careful not to use too much glue though, or you'll glue the bearing shut and it won't spin smoothly. If you've made it this far, congratulations. Now all you have to do is repeat this process 5 more times. Take the robot body and insert a total of 24 4mm heat inserts into it. Screw the legs on using 8mm screws. I used black ones so they wouldn't show. Now stick on the foot and you've got the whole leg. This is the battery for my robot. It uses an XT60 connector for power, and I taped 3 DuPont wires together so I could connect the battery to my high-end charger to charge it. Inside, there are two 18650 cells connected in series, so the total voltage is around 8 volts. This is the wiring diagram. Everything is low voltage, so you don't have to worry about getting an electric shock. But even so, be very careful to connect everything correctly. The video description includes a link to my printables profile, where you can find more detailed instructions. I added a power switch so I can easily turn the robot on and off. There's also a second XT60 connector, so I can swap out the batteries in seconds. Here you can see 2 step-down modules, each of which powers a servo driver. The more powerful step-down module also powers the ESP32 and the rest of the modules. The servo drivers are daisy-chained together. It also comes with a gyroscope module and a 2.4 GHz ELRS transmitter. A servo driver must have these 2 pins connected in order to change its address. Now all you have to do is connect the servos to the drivers, and you're done. A photo showing the servo connections is on the printables profile. Now you can check out some videos featuring my robot.